Right, so today I'm here with Shane Adcock at Hanmer Springs Hot Pools. And I've been coming here now for 41 years, and every time I come back, it's a super, super special experience. Thanks for joining us, Shane. Good to
You're
see
welcome. Yeah, thanks for visiting.
Well, first of all, let's just start with a little history of the Hanmer Springs, because I know they have been around for quite a while now.
Oh, they have been around for a long time. And in fact, last year we celebrated our 150th anniversary of the very first dressing shed. So I'll come back to that shortly. But prior to European discovery, I suppose, in the late 1860s, the Maori actually used them for hundreds of years, used the thermal waters to bathe in when they're travelling across the coast. So there was a number of Maori settlements over near Kaikoura, and they'd use the thermal waters here in Hanmer Springs to bathe in as they travelled across the west coast and backwards and forwards. So they were used for hundreds of years. But first discovered by Europeans in the late 1860s. First dressing shed was 1871. And it was built by a guy who, William Fry, who owned the Jollies Pass Hotel. And effectively by building a dressing shed, he would then, it was the first tourism experience, I suppose, in the area. So effectively, by providing a dressing shed, Mr. Fry realised that he could get people to stay at the hotel for longer. He ferried them from the hotel, which was up the road here, ferried them down on horse and carriage down to the thermal waters, and then there's a dressing shed so they could get changed and so on and so forth. And he realised that if, by providing that service, they would stay at his hotel for longer, and that was sort of the first commercial sort of tourism, if you like, and where the development started from. So then from there, in the early 1900s, the government actually took over the thermal waters area, and back in the early 1900s, the government had the Ministry of Tourism and Health. Might get that name a bit wrong, Ministry of Tourism and Health, I think it was, but very focused on areas like Rotorua and Hanmer Springs, where they wanted to develop those areas for tourism. Mm-hmm. And so the first bathhouse was developed in the area near the thermal waters. And from there, development just continued, both of the village and of the waters. Then, with the development of the addition of the Queen Mary Hospital, which is some of the buildings still stand here next door to the thermal pools today, the Department of Crown Health effectively took over the thermal waters and incorporated them into the hospital, and the thermal waters were used to help soldiers returning from World War One, to help them with their recuperation.
Amazing.
The fresh alpine air in Hanmer Springs, the thermal waters, it was to help with them recover from what they'd experienced in the First World War and in the subsequent Second World War as well. And so the waters were closely aligned with the Queen Mary Hospital for a number of years. And then through the 50s and 60s, they've certainly very well utilised, but over time degraded. And in fact, at one point there was talk about closing the thermal pools down. And that just the level of upkeep needed, the hospital wasn't being used as much as it had been, obviously, with the first couple of world wars. And so there was a local community group that actually stepped in and fundraised and saved the pools, effectively repaired them to a level they could be used, and gifted them to the council. And from there, under the ownership of the council, the developments have happened over the years. So the council in 1978 was the first major, major renovations here, and that's when council built the first pools that you would now know as the hexagonal pools, that you remember from when you were young and visited, and when I was young and visited as well, and they're still here today. So that was 1978 that those hexagonal pools were built, and then there's been obviously development since then, and I think under council's ownership, there's been a real drive to continue to develop the offering that the pools have, and now we've got 22 different pools and 4 slides and a spa and a cafe and everything else. So
it is an incredible facility now.
Yeah, it absolutely is, but it's obviously got a very rich history as well, and yeah, we're very thankful that we've still got the thermal pools and access to the thermal water, and they're a really special part of the community, obviously, but also the wider region and Canterbury itself. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So thermal springs, thermal pools are a great touchless wellness therapy. What is so special about these thermal pools?
These thermal pools, so essentially, it's the minerals that are in the thermal waters. Mm-hmm. So the water that's in the thermal pools actually falls as rain or snow on the mountains around us 173 years ago. So the water that's in the pool today fell 173 years ago, and it goes into little fissures in the Earth's surface and seeps down underground. And as it does that, it absorbs these minerals from the ground into the water, and then as the water gathers in the reservoirs and seeps down underground, and as it does that, it absorbs these minerals from the ground into the water, and then as the water gathers in the reservoirs underneath us and is heated by the Earth's core, then in the past it used to come up to the surface, and now we pump it up from underground. But the process of seeping through the rock and underground, the water absorbs these minerals. So the key ones that are in our mineral thermal water is sulfur, silica, and sodium. Mm-hmm. And so they've been clinically proven to help with everything from helping with soft tissue injuries to helping with skin issues, even silica in particular is known to have anti-aging properties. So and obviously very good for your skin, and very good for your mental well-being as well. So not necessarily the minerals themselves, but the water, by its nature of being naturally heated, so geothermal water, acts as a relaxant, and it's very good for your mental well-being as well.
Yeah, no, we definitely did come out of there feeling, I'm pretty sure, softer, but definitely more relaxed, even the kids, and it's been a great way to get over jet lag, I can definitely say that. Brilliant. Yeah. But it's interesting, like when I first started coming here, there were those 3 big hexagonal pools, and young children, I started coming as a 2-year-old, we were still allowed to use those hot pools, and we were always taught you had to be calm, and it was for a relaxing area. And I think that's really important, that children are taught how to appreciate and conduct proper wellness from a young age. And I'm sure we all benefit from it as a result.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think it's interesting. It's interesting seeing the customers and the families and how they interact around the complex, and of course down in the slide area and then freshwater pools. It's there's a lot of fun, and quite exuberant, exuberant kids, as they should be. But it is interesting when they do hop into the thermal pools, how they do tend to calm down and enjoy the thermal waters for what they are. And I think partly that's the way we've designed the pools, but also I think the water themselves and the way the parents approach it as well, of course. But,
absolutely. I mean, I saw groups of teenagers yesterday, enjoying all these little nooks and crannies and the areas, really having a nice time. Very quiet and relaxed. So it was a joy to really see and witness that everyone can enjoy the wellness together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things we've tried to do as we've developed the complex is ensure that yes, for families we need to provide the freshwater activities and things for the kids to do, but that the rest of the complex is also has bits and pieces for everyone. So the kids can obviously enjoy the thermal waters, the thermal pools, but we do have an adults only pool area. We've got 22 pools as I mentioned, so we've got plenty of space for people to find their own space in their nook and cranny if they're just looking for seclusion or whatever. But is an experience here for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's the capacity of the thermal pools?
The capacity, well, actually, we don't have an actual capacity, a limit, if you like, mainly because all the pools are outside, so there's no fire restrictions, if you like. Our biggest day that we've recorded, we had just under 5,000 people through the complex, so that's a lot. Not all here at the same time, of course, but just under 5,000 people across the day, and so that's a pretty busy day. And I guess from a customer experience point of view, we probably wouldn't want days bigger than 5,000 people in the complex, and certainly if I think about how many people in the complex at one time, you probably don't want more than about 2,000.
Yeah.
And that would, on those big days, would be getting close to that, I think, in those previous large days that we've had. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now I've also spotted the pounamu at the Hanmer Springs, and for those who don't know, that is jadestone or greenstone found in New Zealand, but it is the emblem of Hanmer Springs.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little quick short snippet of that one?
Sure. So pounamu is very, very special to us. When we developed this logo, which would have been in 2014, so about 9 years ago now, we wanted to commemorate the change of the logo, and we feel that this logo really does represent who we are, and that's not disrespecting or belittling the logos we'd had previously, but there's a lot more thought and a lot more of our history that I mentioned before, and the richness and deepness of that history that went into this logo, and so we wanted to commemorate that, and so we commissioned the carving of the pounamu, done by a carver who that's near Christchurch, just outside Christchurch, so it's very much a local carver, and obviously worked with Ngāti Kuri, the local iwi based in Kaikoura, and Ngāi Tahu on the gifting of that pounamu and the carving of it, and it's a very special piece that we've got on our complex.
Yes, it's a beautiful representation, and we did put our hands on it yesterday, left our negative energy, took away the positive, and that was a really nice thing to be able to leave Hanmer Springs. But thank you very much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure visiting again, and hopefully it won't be so long before I come back again.
Yeah, fantastic. Glad you enjoyed your time here, and thanks for visiting.